Cool. So this is a video on how to convert your cordless drill motor gearbox into a drive for a robot combat. This is a 12 volt motor available through Team SC's website, teamsc.co.uk, and they also have 18 volt versions. Now this drill, what we're going to do is we're going to lock the clutch so that we can have full drive for our combat robots. So for this you need obviously your drill and gearbox. This one has the clutch fitted. This is the clutch mechanism. We need a Allen key, a 2.5mm Allen key. We need M5x8 grub screws. They come with the drill in this case. We also need recommended, not completely necessary, an M5 tap and tap holder for starting off the threads, and also recommended but not necessary, a magnet of some kind. So with these drills, what we need to do is remove the clutch spring and plate, and you do this by just unscrewing it and removing that assembly off and popping it in your pot. Now some of them do have screws that fit onto the top, so you'd then remove 2 screws if I remember rightly. They are common on Bosch drills and some others. So you just remove those 2 screws, and then that allows you to remove the assembly. Now what you'll then find is a load of ball bearings. There should be on this model 16 ball bearings, so if you like steel ball bearings for something, great source for them. And what you're going to do is be careful, because they will just fall out. Now there's a couple in there that aren't coming out, so this is where your magnet comes in handy. You can just, there's some strong magnets, just use it to pull out the remaining ball bearings. Let's see if I can get it on camera. There we go. There's another one in there. It's a very strong magnet, this one, surprisingly. There's one left in there. See if I can tease that one out. Oh, it's not coming out. Typical. Oh, there we go. There we go, it's out. Got it out. Right, so now we have a clutchless drive motor, and what will happen is that will just free spin, so you'll get no drive whatsoever. Now inside here there is a castellated nut. You can see the castellations rotating round. Now these lumps raise those 2 ball bearings up against the metal plate just sat there, and what that did is as they rotated it would raise this up. Now as you tighten this, it obviously puts more tension onto that plate. It's just sort of raising up. Now that's how the clutch works, but in our case we don't want that. We just want to get full drive down there. So what we need to do is replace those ball bearings with some grub screws. So you want to rotate this so the lumps sort of sit between there, between the 2 holes, and then using your M5 tap, important, hold the drill upside down, line it into one of those holes, and then just very carefully start a thread And you'll notice when you hold it upside down, all the bits of plastic fall out. There we go. Now by holding it upside down, those bits are falling out and they're not going back into your gearbox. So that means you don't have to disassemble your gearbox to give it a clean. Now what you want to do is put about 4 or 5 turns in there. That's enough. You ideally want to leave one of the threads not formed, because then that gives something for the grub screw to bite into, so it's a bit tighter. Now if you hold it upside down, you'll end up with a tapped hole that has no mess. So I'll do it again. Hold it upside down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Unscrew it, and all those bits fall out, and you're left with a nice hole. There is a bit in there just on the edge, so I'm just going to pick that out. Now if you don't have an M5 tap, you can do this with your Allen key, but it is a lot harder to start that thread. And what you may find is, because you're forming the thread with the grub screw, you actually start deforming and stressing the plastic. There we go. So I've got it in, but it's very, very tight. And you can see what's actually happening is it's bulging that plastic and putting stress on the case. So I don't tend to do that, because obviously it's adding a weakness. So I just go in there with the tap, much easier, upside down, a few turns, and you're done. You've got a nice clean hole. To make stuff from. Right. So it says 8 holes. I'm going to do 4 grub screws, because that's all you need. You don't need to go overboard with them. If you mess one up, you can just move on to the next hole. There we go. So we've now got 4 equally spaced threaded holes. Now just checking again, the lumps are in between the holes. You can then get your grub screw on your Allen key and start feeding them in. Now it will get tight towards the end because we haven't gone all the way through with the threads. Now as you're doing it, you'll notice that you're almost level. Just give it a quick turn and you can hear that it's being locked between the thing. But it's still quite free to move around, so I'm just going to screw it up a little bit more. And with these particular motors from teamsc.co.uk, you'll find that the grub screw actually becomes flush with there, and that is sort of the point. You can see it's now locked, so I just want to undo it ever so slightly, so it's rubbing but free to rotate. So that gives you maximum sort of pressure without deforming your gearbox. So again, I'm just going to do the other ones. So screw it in, give it a quick check with a grub screw, pop it in. This one, I think the threads I didn't do all the way round, so there we go, one more. There we go. We now have 4 grub screws locking off that torque. So that's a good motor. So that is now ready for use within your drive system. Now if you wanted to, and you wanted a very quick method of attaching these to a robot, teamsc.co.uk also do sell some rather nice CNC milled mounts with the option of fitting barrel nuts or having M5 threaded inserts. Now this is a very quick and easy way to mount your wheels to your base plate nice and securely, and then that's your drive done. All you need to do is pop your wheels on. teamsc.co.uk also do sell a variety of wheels and different mounting methods, as well as other bits and pieces for your featherweight and combat robots. So that is how you lock off a clutch for a drill motor for use in robot combat. Cheers!